Hello, hello, hello! Welcome to the RuCap with your host, me, Alex Ringler, coming at you live from New York, backstage at the glorious Kirk Theater while I'm on my lunch break. Let's go around, say who we are, where we're calling in from, and, I don't know, do you worship a certain diva? Filling in for one Mr. Russ White, because it still says Russ White on his little thing there. I think that's kind of funny. Garrett, hey, what's up?
Hey everyone, my name is Garrett. I am calling in from the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, and my favorite singer of all time is Celine Dion. She is just amazing. Her personality, her voice, live for her. She's my god.
Lovely, and I think I might be breaking up a little bit right now, so if I am, I'm sorry. Let's go to Michael Barbieri.
Hi, I'm Michael Barbieri, dining and entertainment writer. Calling in from glorious, glamorous New York City, where it's almost 70 degrees. Excuse me. And I like Bette Midler a lot. She's my favorite diva. Granted, she's an old school diva, but I do love her.
Lovely. I like her too. And let's say, the lovely lady over there, Miss Aaliyah Sky. How's it going?
Hi, it's going pretty good. My name is Aaliyah Scott. I'm a fashion designer and obviously drag queen from Los Angeles, California. And girl, I would say when you do drag, I don't really have any particular divas that stand out because I perform all of them. But we'll throw Beyonce out, girl, because everyone needs a little Beyonce in their life. So
that's true. And we have a newcomer today, Mr. Andrew. Let's say hey, who you are, where you're calling in from, your diva. Let's hear it.
Hello. So I'm Andrew. I'm also from Las Vegas, and my diva would have to be Pink, because I love a bitch who's actually talented.
Love me some Pink. And last but not least, the dreaded and feared.
Hello, everyone. It's the dreaded and feared Walter Kurtz coming to you live from Donkey Mere, home of the Chandelier. And my diva is Barbara, of course. Duh.
Very good choice, Miss Babs. And again, I'm sorry if I'm not coming through clear. It's kind of like a bunker-like situation back here. It says I have good signal, though.
Yeah, I think you're good. You're good, Alex.
Great. Awesome. So we had an interesting episode this week, and we started with a mini challenge that I was like, oh, we're doing this? Oh, we're doing this. Okay, I guess. I get that Michelle had a band at one point, and I like when they mention it like kind of like, oh, you were on that track on The Bodyguard, and that was it. Like, and they kind of like tug in cheek it. I didn't know if it warranted a mini challenge. What do we think on the panel, Michael?
Pointless. Completely pointless. Having said that, I did think that Nina West was very funny with those giant teeth, but it was a stupid, pointless challenge.
Well, even with Nina, that's a sight gag, and it's not really like a performance in a way. So I was like, and she ended up being one of the winners. But Walter, what did you think of the mini challenge this week?
I'd forgotten what it was.
Getting backstage.
Seriously, I had to go review. Oh, that's right. It was a thing at the door and all of that. I agree that Nina West did the best job, and I also liked Akira turning it back on Ru.
I saw that
saying,
too.
I thought, that was really good. But, it just, whatever.
I was...
let's go to Aaliyah. What did you think of the mini challenge this week?
I mean, I will agree. I thought she was pointless. I didn't learn anything new about any of the queens, but I thought it was a cute little filler. Girl,
yeah, I get that.
I don't know. I could have done without her. I could have done an hour-long episode, and I could have just cut that whole section.
I agree with you.
It would have been fine still.
Yeah, if it's gonna be just for filler, then I feel like the mini challenge shouldn't happen, and we should just get right to the main challenge, because then we can get more backstory on the queens. We can get more workroom. We can get more of this, that, and the other. Like, to have just kind of like this mini challenge that was like, okay, I guess it doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
It's always silly though.
I did think that only one of the queens actually got in the club, and it was Silky. She actually was the one that opened the door and was like, "I'm coming in." So
because she came in like a wrecking ball, She just right across okay, but then we so mini challenge, it was fine. It was didn't hurt anybody, didn't help anybody, I would say. We get to the main challenge, and we can't blame the script this time because who is it? Hey. We can't blame the script this time because the girls wrote it themselves, and Team Brittany seemed to do pretty good. Team Mariah, not so much. Do you think it was just because of the diva choice, or were we just with a team with not so great improvisers, actors, that sort of thing? Andrew, our new panelist, I want you to be the first to weigh in on this.
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, it takes the writing talent that has to be there, and I don't think Team Mariah had that. Even if you don't know a lot about her, there were still a lot of things they could have done. Mm-hmm. They just read her. It was all mean to Mariah, where Team Brittany celebrated Brittany. So I think it was a little bit of both. Knowing who your diva is, and Ru gave him a good out, like, hey, y'all don't seem to know her. What you want to do? And they're like, no, we'll keep her. Okay,
well, and the fact you get to pick your own diva, it's like, no one forced Mariah on them. They could, like Ru said in the feedback, we could have done Madonna. We could have done anything else. Garrett, you want to weigh in? Let me.
I was surprised. I don't think that they knew anything collectively about any diva. That was the problem. I've never met a group of people that at least one of them doesn't know something about somebody. Yeah. Like, they didn't know anything about anybody. How are you a drag queen? Usually drag queens impersonate different celebrities, divas. Like, I was blown away by that. That was crazy to me.
And I think it's that speaks to a bigger issue, like even with last week with Opulence, like speaking to like drag queens who don't know drag culture anymore. And it's like, I think it's the internet, it's YouTube, it's Instagram, people who think they can just like put on a pretty face and all of a sudden they're a drag queen. Kinda, but not really. And I think that's what RuPaul kind of calls them out for on this show. Michael, yes?
I have a little bit of a conspiracy theory. I have a feeling because really they could have chosen once they realized, oh my God, we don't know a thing about Mariah, why didn't they choose some other diva? Mm-hmm. I have a feeling that the producers probably came to them and said, we could only get clearance for Brittany and Mariah, so pretend like you're choosing, but you have to choose one or the other.
I thought about that as well. I think it might be part of that, but the part could be, we have clearance for these 5 divas. They chose Mariah, and then sets and costumes and everything else started working behind the scenes to build a Mariah set for them. And then if they maybe, 6 hours into trying to figure something else out, they're like, no, just kidding, we want to change your minds. They might have been like, well, you can't change your mind now because you already picked this and we already started building the set and that sort of thing. So I think it could be a half and half. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying that could have definitely been a big part of it. Walter, speaking of conspiracy theories, I just like calling you that guy. I know you're not, but I just like calling you that guy.
Mm-hmm. Fake news, right.
Do we think it was like all Mariah stuff and or were they just bad actors?
Yeah, they just weren't talented. I mean, but I will say this. I mean, Scarlett did a good job last week and all of that. But you got to be talented. And if you're not talented, it's just going to fall flat. And one thing that I found stunning was what Plastique said. She's like, I'm from Vietnam and I just don't know anything about pop culture. I've only been here like 4 years. Bitch, you're a drag queen. What are you lip syncing to? How do you not know pop culture? What does that mean?
And I'm like,
or whatever it was.
But Troye Sivan is.
Yeah, you know who Troye Sivan is, but you're lip syncing to pop culture people. Don't give me this, I don't know pop culture. You're idiots. You're idiots.
And also she said she came, I think I rewatched it a couple hours before we started, and I think she said she was there 9 years. And I was like, in 9 years you don't know any pop culture and you're a drag queen? I don't buy it. I agree with you, Walter. Like it's ridiculous. Aaliyah, as our resident drag queen, what did you think went wrong with Team Mariah?
Girl, I don't know. There was not a single leader on that team. Nobody wanted to step up, and nobody wanted to say like, we're gonna do this. Like, this is the general consensus. I agree. Like, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. So if they couldn't change it last minute, then that's their fault for not picking someone better from the start, because I'm just like, I'm really surprised that not a single person like really knew enough about her at all in general. I mean, the only thing, but in all fairness, the only thing I know about Mariah is I went to that Mariah Carey concert in Las Vegas and walked out in the middle of it because it was that terrible. But I'm shocked. I'm like really shook. I didn't know half the stuff we were talking about either, though. If I would have been on that team and they all like collectively picked Mariah, I would have been right in their shoes too, though. I would have been bombing it.
Well, also, it was an odd pick from the beginning because there's not a lot of material from Mariah aside from like making fun of like, oh, she didn't sing on the New Year's Eve. She's kind of a boring diva. We don't have choreography from her. We don't have like any sort of like scandal really to like. So to pick a Mariah is like you pick a pretty girl who stands and sings, and it's like, how do you worship that? I don't know. So
but if you're like trying to win people over to anything, you want to make it sound like it's the best thing that ever happened and not really bring up the negative. So they need to make her sound like she's God, you know? So like, who are they winning over by saying that she was like failed marriage, doesn't sing live, messed up this.
And the thing was like, and then the way you can redeem it is through song, and they didn't know their song. So it's like,
just
what the
Hot
fuck?
Mess Express.
Well then, I'm glad we got into this big like multi-possible elimination. We'll get to that. What did we think of the runway this week? Let's start with Aaliyah, our resident fashion designer. I will say that I think a couple of the girls, I want to say Ariel and Brooklyn, of the team that was safe, I wasn't buying their fringe because it didn't really look like fringe. And so if they weren't safe, I feel like they might have been read a little bit more harshly for their looks. What did we think, Aaliyah?
I mean, I thought they were cute. There wasn't a single outfit that really jumped out at me as like not being it. I would agree with you as far as like Brooklyn's. I get the little daisy chain. It was cute, but like the whole outfit wasn't fringe. And the same for Ariel as well. I was a little gagged when they read, who was it? It was Raja, about her little leotard.
Yes.
Because as a drag queen, and we've talked about this before, I mean, I make all the clothes that I put on my back. And girl, I'm sitting there watching it, and I was like, I don't have that many costumes that would have stacked up to some of those girls. So like, I was a little bit surprised that she got so red to film.
I would agree with that, because also look at the silhouette that that Scarlett brought. It was the exact same thing.
They all had a leotard with fringe on it, just about.
They didn't reach her about them. Why are we so hard on Raja right now? So I completely agree with you. Yeah, I was like, that was, it wasn't maybe the best. I actually really liked our spoiler alert eliminated queen. I liked Honey's look very much because she kind of went full out big drag.
Yeah.
But to one person for having a leotard with fringe and not another, then what's the point? Walter, what do you think of the runway?
Well, what I thought of the runways, gosh, once again, I'm resident crank here. The problem that I had with this week's runway is the same problem I've had with all week's runways so far, is that after I've watched it, I don't remember what people were wearing. I remember Evie Oddly's. I thought that it was not quite fringe, but it was certainly memorable, and it had a concept to it. But everybody else's, I just kind of forget, and I have to go back and look at it and go, oh yeah, that's what they had on. And just as an aside, which I thought was interesting, before when they did the first big promo for this season, where they show people talking and the runway and all of that, before we actually saw the first episode, they barely had any runway looks in that thing. And I thought, there are probably not that many great runway looks that they can really put in it. So I just thought it was kind of forgettable,
With Evie's look, I will say like part of his fringe was apparently also his huge cock that everybody was talking about in the workroom. So I wouldn't mind like seeing a little behind the scenes there with that. But let's get over to Andrew, our new panelist. What did we think of the runway this week?
I liked it. They were all on theme. There was no one that really kind of missed the mark. But I do agree. I like the ones that take it to the next level, like Evie. It's not just fringe.
It's a full body something,
Or like the cultural aspect that Sugar Cane brought it to with her native heritage. I thought that was really cool. Even though it wasn't a lot of fringe, it still took me somewhere different. It was her own.
She had a reveal, so it was at least interesting. So I agree with you there.
Yeah. But kind of go back to Walter's point about the promo. I think I like it better when they don't show a lot of runway looks in the promos because it's kind of a spoiler. You know they're going to last longer if you haven't seen them do that look yet. You remember the promo. So the kind of behind the scenes stuff makes it a little more, less spoilery.
It could be strategery on the producer's part to do it. Okay, well then getting to the multiple lip sync, which someone had keyed me in on before. I'm not going to say which panel it was, but someone had cued me in on it. But I was expecting a little bit more drama. I actually wanted to watch this at a gay bar because I felt like people were going to be gagged, and they probably were when they saw all of you guys got a lip sync now. But we only eliminated one queen. If it's a negative team who everyone did extremely poorly, why didn't we get rid of 3 bitches and then bring them back maybe later first? It felt like a missed opportunity and kind of a cop out in a way. It was like, oh, we're gonna do 7 people lip syncing and one of them's gonna go home just like every other fucking week. So Michael, what did you think of this multiple lip sync that we got?
I thought it was overall a little too frenetic. I mean, they had to do the split screens because you didn't really know where to look. So we, as the audience, couldn't really judge who was doing better or worse. But for my notes, I thought Scarlett, Suga, and Akira were the ones that came off the best, from what I could see. And Plastique and Raja, so-so.
Yeah. And I like what he tried to do with jumping off the stage because, the second they started showing the stage, I was like, someone needs to jump into a split off the stage. That's the only way that we're going to clear up some runway or that we're going to stand out. Problem was, she was wearing all black. So she jumped down into the split, and now we can't see you anymore. And also, she wasn't doing that impressive down there, which is why they kept cutting back to Ru being like she was giving the Ru just down there. I was like,
just crawling.
Those girls aren't allowed to get off that stage anymore, though. Anyhow.
Really? Wait.
Yeah, they're told not to.
Yeah, they're not allowed to jump off that stage. So when I saw her jump off that stage, I was like, oh, boo, girl, you guys just killed your fate right then and there. And that's what I got from Ru looking at her. Like, bitch, you know the rules.
Yeah, okay. Well, then it could have been
here. Girl, the cameras are not set up, to be featuring you on the floor. They're set up to be featuring you on the main stage. So stay your ass.
There's no lighting.
But I will say, that then using that runway was it 7 girls? 7?
6.
Or 6? It was 6. 6 girls on that stage is very crowded. So I understand the impetus to let me make my own thing and jump off the stage and be a thing. It just ended up, you need a little bit more, something to back it up in order to do that. And I don't think Honey had that. Let's see, Andrew, what did you think of this business that happened?
I agree. Even when Honey was on the stage, she was too frantic. She was too emotionally wrapped up in trying to stay to actually connect to the song, like the other girls were. I didn't like Scarlett though. The wig didn't do anything. It didn't add to the song. It was awkwardly timed, I thought. She's trying to throw out a gimmick to save herself.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with how it ended, although I think Scarlett should have gone too, in my opinion.
I really think it should have been at least 3 of them, just to make it more dramatic. But maybe we'll get a multiple elimination later on in the series. Okay, so Honey went away. Does anyone else have anything to say about said lip sync? Raise your hand now if I ever hold your peace. Oh, Walter, I see you. Okay.
How dare you forget me?
Greens, I'm trying.
I would have sent home Plastique because her performance consisted of her on all fours whipping her hair, which says to me she didn't know the song since she doesn't know pop culture. But it was too many people on a stage. It was too frenetic. You don't know where to look. And unfortunately, we are now in a drag performance culture where everybody has to be doing tricks. They don't lip sync anymore. And they got to be jumping off the stage. They got to be swinging their hair. They got to be on their back. They got to be grinding the floor.
Tearing off one wig to reveal another wig.
I know it's kind of what I said about last, yeah. Okay, sorry. It's what I said about last year's winner, where Eureka was just standing there singing the song, and the other two, who one of them ended up being the winner, just was running around the stage and hair all in the face. I don't even know if you're lip syncing the song actually, and so I don't get. That's not good drag to me. That's like distracting drag to me. So, and I may be doing this all for naught because I don't know if I'm still recording. Am I still recording?
You are.
Yeah, if somebody could do it like Naomi Smalls, like she does tricks, but they're not fast. They're slow, but you can, and her face is always like facing forward and lip syncing to a T. You know, like,
back band.
It's
and the back.
both.
Which Mercedes actually featured last week too, which I was I did like that. Okay, well, so I'm so far underwhelmed by this season. I know a lot of people share that opinion with me, but do we have people we're excited about? Do we have people we're excited to see more of? Do we think we have a top 4 now? I really think Vanjie's going to be up there, you guys. I think it's going to be a thing that Vanjie's going to be top 4. Other than that, I don't have a horse. Everybody's got a horse. Please tell me people have seen Schitt's Creek and know that song. Anyway, if not, look it up. Garrett, do you have a top 4 right now?
Evie Oddly is standing out. And Miss Vanjie are my top 2. I kind of don't really, the rest of them are all equal in my mind. They're all at the bottom. They all should be lip syncing for their life for me.
I mean, again, it's third episode, so it's not going to be clear right now.
Miss Vanjie and the love thing that's going on with
Brooklyn.
Yeah. I actually like Brooklyn. I think that they have like a good relationship, and I like his outlook on life. So for that reason, I think top 3.
I'd subscribe to their OnlyFans page. Andrew, who do you have for a top 4?
I definitely agree. Evie and Vanjie are going to be in it for the long haul. I think Akira could sneak in. Her runways have been pretty strong.
Okay.
She struggles a bit in some of the challenges and fades, but I thought that of a lot of queens who've made it into the top 3 in the past, and they're good enough just to make it through. And I think they'll keep Silky around for the drama.
Yeah, bless her heart. I mean, I did watch a bit of Untucked, and I was just, I keep going up and down with Silky. I'm like, oh, she's good. Oh, I hate her. Oh, I'm all right with her. Oh, fuck. And so that's where I am with her. I also say I wouldn't sleep on Anina West. She won this week, and she could be a strong contender there, too. Michael, do you have a top 4 or a favorite of them?
Evie, Vanjie, Nina, and Scarlett.
Oh. Get it.
That's it.
I feel like we're playing Clue, girl.
I don't know.
Top 4.
Brooklyn Heights, I like a lot too, but
yeah. No, so, I'm not mad at that top 4. That seems very strong to me. Aaliyah, do we have any favorites so far?
I don't have a favorite, but I would say top 4 is it's a growing trend. So Evie and Vanjie, of course. I think Brooklyn will make it, and then I agree with you, Andrew. I think Akira is like a slow burn because she's a pageant girl, and in the pageant system, it's about consistency. You can't win in every category. You can get second in every category and still take the crown. You got to be consistent, and so far she's been very strong and very consistent, and just been on not the winning team, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay, I get that. And Walter, what do we think?
Vanjie, Evie, Brooklyn, and I haven't a fucking clue.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It could be anybody at this point. Like one wrong move and Vanjie could be gone. We don't know, but it just seems that they're kind of setting her up, in my eyes, to be at least top 4, if not the winner.
Well, she's doing a great job, and she's making great TV, which is what the producers want.
Totally. Yeah. And all the runway looks are there. Like she looks snatched up. I'm like,
the advice that Rupaul gave the winning team, I think, really helped them actually win. It was about finding your uniqueness, because then it wasn't about the competition of being like, well, she's doing that, and so I have to do this. It was just like, find your own beat, but following.
And like, it's yes and.
Yeah, but the problem with that is, particularly with the young queens, they haven't a clue who they are. They don't know what their beat is.
Well, and that's what I think is with Miss Ganache. Like, I think she's trying to be everything because she wants to be big, but it's like, you don't have to be everything all the time. You just have to be there.
Then you're nothing.
Yeah.
Totally. Also, now the market is so saturated.
Very saturated.
There are so many drag queens now. It's just like, how can you find your own beats when you're lost in this sea of drag queens?
In the sea
but
of
you know what?
hair,
Without getting too deep, you don't really find it. You just are what you are.
That's
true.
And
if you have a distinct personality, you're not trying to be a distinct personality. You look at, just to use a very quick example, if you look at Bette Midler's performance in the Continental Baths on YouTube, she was fully formed as a performer. That was just her.
Yeah.
She didn't over the next 10 years develop that. So it's with these queens, either you're who you are or you're not.
It's honestly that star quality thing.
Drag
it's
queen
like,
down.
I said it last night. It's like, we need another Bianca on this season to kind of rein these girls in and be like, what do you do well? Quickly.
Yeah.
So, that being said, I, again, don't know if I'm recording still because of the bumper.
You are.
But thank you for joining us this week, and thank you for watching RuPaul. And I get until next week, kids. I should be back in my own room, I think, next week. All right. But thanks for joining us. And until next time, my sweeties, bye.
Bye.
Bye.